My name is Frank, I'm an addict. Yeah, I'm really nervous now. Jesus Christ. I'm a strange. Helen introduced me as Frank from London, Manchester, but Ireland. But, you know, everybody that knows me in London and everybody that knows me in Manchester knows I'm Irish, from Dublin, you know, and that's where I am, always will be, you know. Doesn't matter if I'm actually longer living in England than I was in Ireland, I'll always be Irish, you know what I mean? And it's really great coming back here and sharing at an Irish convention. It feels really emotional for me, it really does, you know. I don't know where to start really, you know. I suppose I'll get you on my side a bit and tell a little bit of a sad story first, you know, and then see if it's softened to me a bit. I suppose, you know, my story is just really not it's not much different from most Irish families, you know. Both my parents are alcoholics. I grew up in a family where my father used to beat my mother-in-law. I hope he doesn't hear this recording, but he knows he did. Kind of, you know, it was just really painful, and I was frightened all the time. That's all I remember, is just being frightened as a kid growing up. I used to pray in bed at night. I used to say, please God, please not tonight, please not tonight. And then I'd hear them come in from the pub, I'd hear the shouting and screaming, I'd hear the banging and stuff around. And I suppose that's when I turned against God. He just wasn't doing his fucking job as far as I was concerned. You know, and as I got a little bit older, I used to go down the stairs, and I used to try and hold my mother and father apart, you know, and then I kind of learned to actually cause a little bit more trouble, so I'd get a beating rather than my mother getting a beating. And when I got a little bit older than that, I think I was a teenager at one stage there, I ended up hopping on my dad and started punching him in the head. When I was only a little fella, I'm still a little fella now, but I was really little then. And he just threw me off and he started punching me, you know. And I remember I ran out into the street, and he ran out after me. And you know, in Ireland we're all very friendly and all the neighbours were out in the streets. It was summer, it was. And he was running, trying to catch me, and I was going, come on, you old has-been, you're only good for hitting women and children. And I remember the hate I felt. It was so powerful, it was. And but I loved humiliating him, because he couldn't catch me. I was like a little whippet, and I was humiliating him. I could see all the people in the street looking out at him, you know, and I was letting them know who he was. But after that, I thought, oh, what the hell do I do now? So where am I going to go? You know, I stayed in my uncle's place for a little while, but I remember I came back a few days later, and I walked in the house. And my father just looked around the door and he went, you little bastard, yeah. And he tried to make a joke of it. I didn't speak to him for a long time after that, to be honest, you know. But these are the kind of resentments that, you know, that are so deep, you know, that I grew up with, you know, that really kind of was the making of me. Because I fantasised about killing my father so often. I fantasised about killing him. Jeez, I definitely hope he doesn't hear this. No, but you know, that's just the way it was, you know. And anyway, I'm going to get off that really. But anyway, fast forward, yeah. I started using drugs when I was 16 or something like that. I remember the first time I smoked a joint. I was a clean-cut kid. I'd never drank alcohol. I'd never smoked a cigarette. And I smoked this joint. And I remember, as I was smoking the joint, I started to feel sick, because I was, you know, I hadn't done this before. And my head was spinning, and I remember I was leaning over the alleyway, over a wall, and I was getting sick. And as the last few globules of sick came out of my mouth, I remember thinking, I like this. This is nice. Because, you know, if you've got a pain that's just constant all the time, that you kind of get used to it, but you only notice when it's gone. And I noticed that the fear was gone for a little while. So really I was gone from there on. And I was chasing that for the rest of my life, you know. Well, not the rest of my life, I've been clean a long time. Anyway, Anyway, I progressed, I mean, smoking a few joints didn't do it for me, progressed, and I moved over to London, started to use heroin, and anyway, I'm not even going to go into all that, to be honest, man. I ended up, at the end of my using, I was on 60 mils of methadone a day. I was injecting heroin whenever I could get it. If I really got a touch, I'd inject crack cocaine, which is like injecting pure insanity into your veins, yeah? Pure insanity. There was a while when I was doing crack cocaine for a while, and I fantasized about getting back to just using heroin, because my life seemed really manageable then. And I'm serious, I really did, So I got back to doing that. And it just went on and went on and went on, and I've found, I suppose what you could call friends dead, and I just remember one of our friends, Leo, David, my brother. A lot of people know my brother David. I found him dead in his flat, and I just remember thinking, he's got a really nice leather jacket. Let's get around to his flat before it gets cleared out. I mean, that's how basic and. And I'm not giving myself a hard time about it. That's just how powerful this illness is. It really is. Anyway, but I got clean because I went into a detox. I went to a treatment centre down in Plymouth. I went in on the 25th of January 1995, and I went on a 7-day detox in there. It was painful. It was very painful. I didn't sleep for a while. And they pushed you into groups. It's a 12-step place, I didn't know what the hell that was, really, to be honest. But I literally found that traumatic. And I don't use that word lightly. I mean, I found it traumatic. I had long, curly hair when I went in there. And seriously. And my hair started to go grey. And it was horrible. It was just terrifying. I just found it traumatic. I was listening to other people talking about abuse and stuff that happened. I remember this one day in treatment where I opened up about stuff that happened to me as a child. I felt fucking quite emotional here. And I felt really, oh God, I didn't really want this. But anyway, I just thought, like, I'm the only man that this has ever happened to in the world. But luckily, they took us out to a NA meeting once a week. All the women got dressed up, and the men tried to look cool. And they brought us off to this meeting, and I was really messed up in my head. I talked about this. I thought I'd never tell anybody this. And I sat in this meeting. The guy that did the chair talked about the same stuff that had gone on for him as a child. And 7 men shared from the floor, talked about the same stuff, And I just thought, if that isn't higher power stuff, and I just thought, wow, I'm not the only one that this has happened to. And some of those guys were years clean. So I thought maybe I could stay clean, But I just hadn't got a clue. I mean, I got kicked out of the treatment centre when I was, I can't remember, I think 42 days clean. I don't know why. I think it might have had something to do. I threatened to punch one of the counsellors. I wanted to fight people in groups, but I did the very best that I could, and I didn't use, and I've never used since that day that I went in there. So I give myself a good. But I was a nightmare. But I was just damaged. I was just a damaged kid, and I came out of that place. I had experienced NA meetings for the very first time. Clean. And when I got kicked out that day, I got on the train back to London. I was on the train station. I was going, if I just don't use today, Frank. The little did I know, I had the program in my head already. And I went back and I went to 173 meetings in my first 90 days. I got myself a sponsor in that first week, and I walked through the steps in my first year of recovery. And because in the beginning, I knew I was going to use again. I absolutely 100% knew that I was going to use again. There was no doubt about it. I'd gone 16 and a half years using all the time. So I knew I was going to use again. There was no doubt about it in my mind. But what happened is I just kept coming to meetings and I got this sponsor and I started working the steps, and then I started to think, well, maybe I can stay clean. Till, of course, after a while, I think, well, you know, something radical would want to really happen for me to use, you know. But I don't get complacent. I still go to 3 meetings a week, believe me, and I'm over 22 years clean. And I stay close to this shit, man, you know, and I stay close, and my ear pricks up when I hear people that are a long time around that have used. Because I'm not immune to this stuff, you know. I'm just not, and I never will be. Never will be. And I know that, anyway, forget about other people. When I was 9 months clean, I went back for the Irish Convention. Luckily I'd met Stephen and a few of the lads, you know, over at the London Convention, and I went home when I was 4.5 months clean as well, you know, and I'd seen them again, and a few other guys, I can't remember their names anymore because my just head's a bit fucked up at the moment. Anyway, I only remember Stephen because he's sitting there, and Mick as well, you know what I mean. And I remember, you know, anyway, they were good to me. They were good to me, you know. And what happened is when I went back, my brother David asked me if he could come. He didn't actually ask me if he could come to a meeting with me. He asked me, can I come into town with you? I need to pay an electricity bill. He wouldn't say, can I come to a meeting with you? But he came in, and on the way in the bus he said, is it all right if I go along to the meeting with you? You know, and I said, well, of course, you know. And later on that day I was going to another meeting, and who walks up the stairs going to it? It was my brother, going to his second meeting. And then he went to 2 more the day after that, and we went down to Galway. I remember all the lads. I remember Mark Fitz to the chair in 1995. It's a fantastic chair, by the way. He's still around, Mark. It's great. And my brother got up for 3 days clean, shaking. No detox for him, no treatment centre. He just went in the meetings and he detoxed in the meetings. His detox was going swimming every day and going to meetings every day. And he's a bit of a hero to me. It's a shame he's not here. He didn't bother coming down here. He's coming tomorrow. He's working hard and money. Anyway, priorities, you know. Hey ho. No resentment there at all. Anyway, I love my brother. I love him. I really, really love him. And I remember when I was going home after that week, and I was saying to the guys, please look after me, brother. Please. And the guys were going, don't worry, we'll look after him. I feel like crying again. And he looked after him. And Dave is like, he's coming up to 22 years clean. He's 21, and I don't know. Anyway, I think in October he's 22 years clean, you know. And, you know, I remember going back when he was a year clean, back for the Irish Convention next year, and seeking him out, and I had my year medallion. I was going to pass around to him, you know, and I said, you know, Dave, I said, I love you. And it just meant so much to me that you're clean. And it really did, it meant so much to me. And then he 12-stepped my older brother Jimmy about a month or so after that. I didn't like Jimmy at the time, to be honest. He used to batter me when I was a kid, man. And David as well. We used to join together forces, you know what I mean? But we were only little people at that time, you know. Anyway, but, you know, this is a great program because I didn't really like, and he irritated me a lot, you know. I mean, a lot of people know my brother Jimmy. He's got a booming voice, you know. Oh, yeah, the with his one eye, you know. But you know what's great to this program is, and great to doing steps and walking. You know, I mean, I've done 3-4 step 4s and 5s, you know, because I just really needed the freedom, you know. I needed freedom for this stuff. And, you know, it's how good you want to be. That's what people say, how good you want it. And I want it. I want it so bad to be free of this stuff, you know. And I've grown to love my brother Jimmy. Really love him. He's the biggest, hardest guy you've ever written. I know you already know that. Because a lot of you know him. You know, I spent 2 weeks with him in India there, you know, as the first. He drove me mad for a little bit, I've got to say. But again, you know, but it was beautiful as well because he started to relax a little bit. and other friends came over so I could pawn them off a little bit at times. But it was great. It was great, you know. We were like easy rider and motorbikes, driving to meetings, and it was fucking great. I love India, you know. I've gone so many times. I'm all right there. Yeah, I mean, it's so much has happened, you know, in my recovery. You know, I better stick that together. We can, yeah. Because I can't do this on my own, you know. I really know I can't, you know. And you know and all that pain and all that fear that I experienced through growing up and using, I'd like to say that I've never experienced that in recovery, but I'd be lying. Life is full of pain and it's full of fear. But you know, this program's helped me to deal with that, you know. I was one of those people that came on, you know, I got clean, I was on a pink cloud for years. You know, enjoy it while you can, that's what, you know. No, it was great, it really was. And that was real for me then, because I was so messed up from that, and I was so frightened of going back to that. I did everything I could not to go back there, you know. So I walked through the steps, I went to loads of meetings, I did service, I sponsored people, you know, and I just kept doing it, you know, and I just dedicated myself to this. I wanted it so much, and that's the great thing. The only requirement for membership is desire, you know, and I had so much desire, you know. And you know, and through my brothers getting clean, it's great, because I was really, the first time I came back to Ireland, when I was 4.5 months clean, a few of my brothers and my sister and my mum and my dad met me at Dublin airport. I was out of treatment just a couple of months or something. And they led me straight from where he met me, straight up to the pub in the airport, yeah? And they were going, you having a drink now? And I was going, no, I can't drink. Alcohol is a drug. And mother was going, what the fuck are you talking about? You'd say, no, I'm a drug addict. Anyway, my head was so messed up, man. I remember I rang the NA helpline. The Irish NA helpline was just, you know, you leave a message and somebody might get back to you in the water, you know. It was back in 95, you know, and I was thinking, I was sitting there, I felt like it was an alien being all looking at me, man. Jesus, please get me out of here, man. I was in there I've got loads of brothers and sisters, you know. And they're all ill with this illness, you know. And but the phone call came. They said there's a meeting up. It was up in Rathfarm, man. I had to get 2 buses across the Dublin, and then I had to run up the mountain to Rutland Centre it was, you know. And I was like, there was a demon running after me, and, you know, running up this mountain, man, you know, and off the second bus, man. Jesus Christ, man, it was wrecked. And then when I walked in, I seen Stephen and, what's his name? We used to call him the priest. Anyway, I seen a few of the heads that I'd seen at the London Convention. I just walked over and I just sat down beside him and just went, jeez. I just thought, I'm okay. I'm all right now. I'm all right, I'm here. And I was okay. It was okay. And, you know, anyway, it's just the way it works. It's just great. And I didn't actually write anything down, but then when Janice was sharing, she had stuff wrote down, so I started to jot stuff down. I was like, Jesus, what happens? And then there was too much, and I was thinking, oh, fuck you, no. I wrote down pain, fear, together with brothers. I wrote down Hep C. Step 4, Step 5, Step 8, Step 9, depression, anxiety. Then I thought, don't talk about that. And then family and God, prayer, meditation. But I will say, right, because I got to about 12 and a half years clean. All tickety-boo, all going great. And I found out I had hepatitis C. I never knew I had it for all them years. Chris knew I had it. He probably gave it to me. But it was a shock to me. It was a shock to me. And now I was with a woman for 21 years. We had 2 children at this stage. I had a child when I was in recovery and a daughter that was 3 years old when I got clean. And a week later, she said she didn't love me anymore and she wanted me to move out. And to say that I was devastated, or I can think of a million adjectives that could not cover how absolutely messed up I was. I was going to say effed up, but I think Janice used up the quota of F's there. so I'll have to limit mine. But I was really, it was just like someone had opened the trapdoors in my life, yeah? And I was just falling, and I couldn't grab onto anything. And I was just frightened, and I was going to meetings, I was shouting and screaming, I was crying all the time, I remember in one meeting I was sharing about it, and there was like blood coming out of my veins, and I was going, look, if any fucking body comes up after this meeting and tries to give me advice about relationships, if you think you know me well enough, yeah, fucking don't. So don't. Jeez, I was just gone. I needed restoring the sanity again. But the thing is great. The great thing is that I've never been so insane that I thought that using could help it. I've never been, you know. You know, and then what happened? I thought I'll go on the interferon treatment because things couldn't get any worse. How wrong can you get? I don't believe there is such thing as a rock bottom. It's a bottomless pit. As long as you're still alive, you can go further down. So if you think you're at your rock bottom, just hang around. Or use again, wherever, you know. And what I started to experience, I started to get burnt out from the job I did. I started to suffer from anxiety and depression. I was driving to work and I had to pull over and I couldn't go on anymore and I'd be crying in the car. And I didn't feel able to go and share it in the meeting because I was just frightened. I thought, you know, how can I do that? You know, I'm like 14, 15 years clean. But I had to pull myself together and I had to say, not pull myself together, get, you know, liven up, man up. Pull myself together and go and share about it. And, you know, and cry. And work. You know, and I just, you know, because I don't know what really, but I didn't know what to do. I was lost. But I wasn't lost for a few months. I was lost for a few years. But I was still going to meetings. I was still calling my sponsor. I was doing what I needed to do. Occasionally the mist would fucking lift. And what I did is I rededicated myself to the program again. And what I started to do is I used to meditate all the time. Not all the time, on and off for years. I thought, okay, and I started looking to, anyway, forget about it. Basically what I did is I got up every single morning and I meditated. Every single morning. And I've been doing that for years. And you know, within a few weeks, the anxiety left me. It was like a miracle. And the depression left me. I went back to my work. I'm still doing the job I do. I love my job. I'm really passionate about it. I love it. I met another woman, fell in love all again, and we're together about, I think it's 8 years. And it's definitely 8 years. She might hear this. I love her. She's definitely going to hear it. No, I really do. See, the thing is, when I broke up with my missus, I still love that woman. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. She's the mother of my children. My children are so great. My daughter has done a university degree. She's done a master's degree. My son's a chef. He works in, you know, the Tate Gallery. You know, she's done a great job. You know, even after I moved out. You know, and all I learned is what I learned in here is the great way to be a parent is to love your children. That's all. Just love them, and I just hugged them. I just did what we do here. We hug each other. And that's what I just hug. My son, if you met my son, man, he'll hug you all. Now, he's not an addict. He's fucking great, he is. My daughter, she'll hug you. Depending, or maybe not some of the guys. She's heard about some of the NA lads. Anyway, but, you know, they're great kids, you know. I mean, they just learn to do that stuff, you know. But anyway, you know, I must be close to the end, am I? Yeah. I mean, so I've just flown over. I went straight from my job to Manchester Airport. Flew into Dublin Airport. David picked me up from the airport. Went back to stay in his place. Now I went back to see my mum and my dad. Now, do you know those people that I said I hated so much, you know? I had loads of love from them. You know, through doing step 8 and 9, I went home to my mother and I told her I loved her and I gave her a hug, and you know, she just recoiled the first year I did it. But the thing is, I did it again and again and again and again, year after year, till she expects a hug. Until my dad said to me, do I not get a hug? Now, when I came back around to see them, you know, they're 78, 79, they look well for the tape. They look, no, they look old, man, and it was a bit of a shock to me, you know what I mean? And I felt, but I gave my dad a big hug, and I gave my mum a big hug. And I told them, and I do love them. I don't want to spend a lot of time around them, because I need to protect myself, but I still love them. And, yeah, she says, you know, I'm going to have a drop of water. I'm going to wrap her up, because Helen said she'd fiddle with me leg if I...
Which one?
What?
What's the tape?
Your Honour. Anyway, it's been a great experience doing this. I feel a bit dizzy, do you know what I mean? I do. I feel a bit faint now. It must have been... I think it was... For Jeff, she didn't touch me leg. You seen the size of Jeff? Anyway, I love Jeff as well. Anyway, thanks very much. I really do feel a bit dizzy, actually. Anyway, thanks very much. And, yeah, just thanks.